This is Triggered.
And you will be.
I'm on my way home I had to go run an errand. And I was just like, we're going to record when I get home. And just every single song that was coming on my playlist was perfect. And I was just like, life is so good. I'm at such peace. Guys, Ashley gets Ashley gets into the platform that we record on, and she is screaming at her husband.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. I need 1 fucking hour. And I was about to come on here and be like, maybe we should record in the evenings. Like, I'm feeling really vibey about that. Maybe not.
Guys,
Maybe
it
Mike
was
can't
so
be
funny.
home.
And when I yell, shut the fuck up, it's in a joking way. But this man, I'm wearing a sundress. He's got his hands up my skirt. I'm friggin' running around. I'm trying to get my shit together. Then, okay, so I'm like, we're recording at night. We're going to have some wine. We're going to chill.
Know.
He then informs me he left the wine in the cart at the store. So there's no wine that I can drink right now. So then he goes back. He comes in. He's like, you're pretty. You're pretty. I'm like, shut the fuck. Like, he has not stopped trolling me for hours. Like, he is having the best time. And you know how Matt does this to you when you're like in a hurry?
It's literally the worst time.
Matt always decides to fuck with Chantal when she's like having the worst moment.
Constantly.
He's like flapping her titties and she's like, fuck. So anyways, you're going to see me refill my cup. I had no time to prepare. So I have a glass of wine, but then I was like, but what if I run out of wine? I used a measuring cup to add more wine. So you're going to see me refilling with my measure because the decanter was going to take too long to pour into. I had to go.
You really went hard. Well, I don't know. This still might be the better option. For those of you that don't know, Ashley and I usually record at 6:00 in the morning before work. And it works. It's fine. But this is kind of nice, like with the drinks and you know what? It's taking me back to the very early days of Triggered.
I know.
Because this is how we used to do it.
Baby Ashley and baby Chantal.
And there's a few, if you're new here, there's a few episodes in like the first year where like we are smashed. Like I listen back to it and I'm like, what is wrong with us?
But to be fair, we thought our podcast was going to be something that like maybe 5 people ever listened to.
Yeah,
so
like
we
our
were
friends were listening to. We were like, whatever, it'll be fun. Well,
no one around the world's going to. And now we're like, oh, but you know what? We keep it real around here.
We're
What's
like,
in your cup?
Hello, Tokyo.
What's in your cup, boo?
I am having a Diet Coke with some Irish whiskey.
Beautiful. I'm having rosé. 0 sugar because the hangovers. I have a crazy day ahead of me. I worked all weekend. I was teaching this weekend, so.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, on that note, I know that I'm really excited to get into this one today. It's different. But before we do, I am dedicating this episode to a listener.
I know.
Because she sent us an email that had us both roaring, laughing. Like I was belly laughing. So, Shannon from PEI, this one's for you, babe.
This one's for you, baby.
This one's for you, my love. Thank you so much for your email. Guys, we love hearing from you. Like I've been listening to podcasts for years and years and years and years. And I'm the person who every now and then I'll be like, oh my God, I wish I could tell so-and-so about this. And then I don't send the email because I'm like, oh my God, they get hundreds of emails. Please send the email to us.
Yeah.
We read every single one. We love every single one. We like joke about it. We show our men. It's a thing. Yeah. So please keep doing it. So Shannon, this one's for you.
You put some pep in our step today, Shan.
You did. Okay. Before we get into this case, I just want to give a bit of a content warning. We do talk about suicide today. And I like to go ahead and put this content warning out because these episodes aren't for everybody. We've all struggled. Maybe you've struggled and this is not for you, and that's okay. But we don't dwell on it. We're not lingering on it. It's just a part of this episode. And I also wanted to say for anyone who is struggling, if you're struggling with your mental health, if you're struggling with your purpose, with your worth, you can text 988 anytime, anywhere in Canada and the United States. If you need a little bit of extra help, there's nothing wrong with that. There's someone there to listen to you, someone there to talk to you. So just putting it out there. 988 from your cell phone. Doesn't matter who you're with, where you are, Canada, the US. We got you. We got you. All right. Ashley has no idea what I'm doing, and I cannot
I
wait to
know. I'm
tell her.
like, what do I do here? I feel funny.
I feel silly. So I want to try something a little bit different today. We're going to go on a little bit of a moral journey with Triggered. Because I first was going to do the first story as an entire episode. And I wrote it and I looked at it and I thought about it. And it was really challenging me from a moral standpoint where I really don't know what I think. I really don't know where I stand. And then
Oh.
I got to thinking, wouldn't it be interesting if I pulled a few stories where I want to talk about them because it's not black and white. It's
No.
not, yeah, like it's not our usual case where we tell you the horrors that somebody did. We know they did it and they need to go to prison for the rest of their life because they're horrific people. This one challenges us in a little bit of a different way, and I cannot wait to hear what everybody thinks about these three separate cases that have a moral dilemma in them. And I'm most excited to hear what you think and where you stand at the end of each of our little blurbs. So I'm going through three cases today, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what we think about the punishment, if there was a punishment, if there should be a punishment, and so forth. All right. So here's the format. I'm going to walk you into three separate rooms. And I'm kind of betting that you might change your mind in all three, but who knows? I don't know. You're a wild card. I never really know what I'm getting with you, so maybe not. So let's go into room number one. Some of you know this name, some of you might not. His name is Kenneth Law. So here's the short version. He's a former chef from the Toronto, Ontario, Canada area. He is boring. Okay. Like just in the sense of he doesn't stand out in a crowd. He doesn't light up a room when he walks in. He's just the most average dude you can imagine. Quiet, middle-aged, and absolutely broke after the pandemic cost him his kitchen job. So
Yeah, that's
he,
right
right,
there. So many people.
so many people. And this was the first thing where I was like, I relate to this
Hmm.
because I lost my job because of the pandemic.
I was unable to work
And
as well.
yeah, and it was shocking. And I remember sitting at home while the whole world was shut down going, so what am I supposed to do if I
Yeah.
can't go to work? So I
Yeah.
get it. I got it. So he's at home and he's got one piece of specialized knowledge. He knows about a certain substance. Now, he's a smart guy. He went to school and was kind of nerdy, so knew the backgrounds of science and different formulas, etc. And this something is completely legal. It's used in tiny regulated amounts in the food industry. And it's sitting in a factory somewhere right now, perfectly lawfully, helping cure somebody's bacon. So this substance is used in all sorts of cured meat. So
Yeah.
think sandwich meats, bacon, etc. And it's great in a small amount. It does the trick. It does exactly what we need it to do. But in a larger amount, it will kill you.
Uh-huh.
So it's COVID. And Kenneth Law saw a business opportunity. He built websites, clean, ordinary looking websites. One of them decorated with a little background of cold cuts and a cheese board. like some artisanal food shop. So
Okay.
when you landed on these websites that he had, it wasn't what we're going to get into. It looked like someone running a charcuterie business.
Okay.
However, the only orders he took was for this one substance, and he shipped packages all over the world. And over a couple of years, this one sad, broke guy in a condo in the GTA shipped around 1,200 parcels to more than 40 countries. And what he was shipping out, my friends, were suicide kits.
Mm,
So you went on this site. It looked like you were shopping for, like I said, charcuterie, a cheese board. When you went to place the order, the only thing you could order was this one package, which would arrive at your home with basic instructions on how to take your own life.
I am going to struggle with this one.
Mhm.
Hmm.
By the time investigators in multiple nations finished counting, his products were suspected in something like 150 deaths worldwide.
And that's what we know of.
That's what we know of. And here's the part that puts him into this episode that we're doing today. When the police finally caught up with him, when the charges came, Kenneth Law's defense never really changed. He said, I had no control over what people did with what I sold them. I sold a legal product. Adults bought it. Their choices are not my crime.
Right.
His lawyer put it cleanly. My client sold an otherwise legal product on the open market. Now, this is monstrous, in my opinion. I'm not going to go into the substance because I just don't think it's necessary. I don't want to trigger anyone further. But this substance, let's say you were actually buying it to cure meat. The amount needed to cure meat, he was selling like 40 times that in these packages. The purpose of these packages was never for people to cure their meat, and that is apparent. Nobody is stupid. Basically, on the dark web, on dark websites, when someone was looking for assistance in ending their own life, they would come across these websites. That's what they
Yeah.
were there for.
And I understand his defense strategy, and I do. However, the intent was to profit off of somebody at their lowest time. You are exploiting somebody who literally sees no other way, and that is disgusting. I have had a similar conversation recently with my husband where I do think that somebody who is struggling with ideation of suicide, and if someone else pushes them in the direction of suicide, they should be made accountable because that person might not be able to bring themselves back to a place where
Mhm.
they can think clearly. He had no idea who these people were that were buying the substances.
Yep.
He
Yep.
also didn't know if these people would be using them against other people in murder
Yep. Yep.
because you could.
Absolutely.
I have dealt with someone who passed from suicide,
Mm.
and it affected my daughter so horribly since that day that we have had a lot of struggles within the family,
Mhm.
and those wounds don't ever close. Uh, I know what it feels like to lose somebody to suicide that you saw the day before. I know what it feels like to
Mhm.
look back and be like, what could I have done differently? And I also know what it's like as a person who knows that that person was being pushed by somebody else to take their life.
Mhm. Mhm. So this is the thing. This is the dilemma because some would argue, well, think about all of the things that you have in your home right now that, if ingested or if taken the wrong way, would kill you.
Right.
But I guess my argument is okay, but It's not being marketed to me as something that I can use to end my life, which
Right.
and he was smart about it because all of his websites, none of them were like, "I'll help you die." None of them were
No,
like
no.
that. They were marketed in a way the same way as, like, a cleaner is marketed. When this finally went through the courts, the charges climbed all the way up. He was eventually facing 14 counts of first-degree murder, the most serious thing in the Canadian Criminal Code. And then it all collapsed because the prosecutors got nervous about whether the murder theory would actually hold. And a separate Supreme Court of Canada ruling basically cut the legs out from under it. In 2026, this was only like a few weeks back, Kenneth Law pleaded guilty instead to 14 counts of aiding suicide, the lesser
Yeah.
charge.
Right.
His max is 14 years. I
So,
know.
and I don't know what his mental situation was when he decided to
Well,
design
I
this.
do know. I do know he was desperate.
Okay.
He was
And
gonna
I
lose
know,
his and this is the thing, and you and I have both been in situations in our life where we were financially, like,
yep.
rock bottom.
Yep.
So, I actually relate to this in the
Mhm.
sense of this guy's sitting in his house. He was not like, investigators spoke to some of the people he worked with in the kitchen, and he said he was that, like, awkward guy that, like, couldn't make friends on the job, couldn't do anything right. And so it's like, okay, so he's sitting in his house, he's gonna lose his home, he's gonna lose his stability. Was this just a desperate man looking for something niche?
I don't care.
I knew this was gonna be like this. I I do not give a fuck. Well, and neither do
Because
I.
he did not give a fuck about those people. He didn't give a fuck that maybe somebody who was contemplating, like, how do I do this? Found this way and thought, well, this is foolproof. I'll be able to do that. Paid somebody money. You're generally allowed to make a decision as an adult whether you want to be around or not. I am not saying that that choice shouldn't be your own. However, this person put a monetary amount on whether or not someone was going to live or die.
I purposely wanted to talk about where you stood then
Okay.
before I told you an aspect of this. Because
Okay.
initially, and I'm with you, I think this was a monstrous thing to do. He was not stupid. He knew what he was doing. He knew what people were using this shit for, and he kept doing it.
Okay.
I think that is a monster thing to do. But before I tell you what I'm going to tell you, I was really struggling. I was really like, was he one of those people that was like, if I just look away, I'll at least be able to keep paying my rent? And I almost for a second felt bad for him. And then that went away real quick because it is alleged that he posed online as a retired doctor to make frightened people trust the product.
Right.
Now, this is alleged, but it says so apparently, as you were checking out, okay, so we see this all the time when we do online shopping. Let's say you go to a website, you put a few things in your cart, you go to check out, and then you're like, yeah, maybe next pay. And you click X, and a pop-up comes up and it says, are you sure you want to abandon your cart? It's a marketing thing. It's to keep us on the page. It's to make us make the purchase. Well, his pop-up was basically, would you like to speak to a doctor? He's not a doctor, but he would pose as a doctor. And he basically would coach these people who clicked, yes, I want to talk to a doctor, into purchasing the product, which to me, murder.
100%. Like, you're violating their trust right away. I'm sure if they decided that, no, I'm not going to go through with this, there was reasonable doubt that they had something to live for, and you took that away.
There were a few victims' families who came forward after this. There was 2 that I can think of off the top of my head that made 911 calls, and when the dispatcher answered, they said, "I took this thing, it's to commit suicide, but I wanna live. Like, I take it back, like, I need help, I need someone to send," and it was too late for both of them.
And here's the thing, okay? I could maybe see if this fucking lunatic, because you have to be a lunatic to do something so crazy,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, maybe had a criteria. Submit your paperwork showing me that you are terminal. Something like that. Then I could be like, oh, not saying that that would have made it better by any means.
Mhm.
But if
Mhm.
someone was already going to die and they were looking maybe for a way to die without fear or any of that, okay, then I could be like, this would be like a Dr. Kevorkian thing.
Mhm.
He was trying to do an assisted type of suicide, but that's not what this was. This was purely for profit, didn't give a shit who these people were, and you posed as a fucking doctor. You're not a doctor. You're
I know.
cook
I
and
know.
craft
I
dinner
know.
in your fucking shitty
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah. So, if you're bored, before we go into room number 2, if you're bored, check out the Reddit threads because there are there are conversations happening where a lot of times the other side, I'm always like, "You're crazy, shut up." But in this case, I get it, like, some of the arguments that people are making, people are
Yeah.
saying like, "Okay, well, what about guns? What about guns?" People go in, they buy guns, someone sells them those guns, and it's like, "Okay, but they weren't for the purpose of ending that person's life."
If someone goes into a firearm store and they say, "Hello, I'm here to buy a gun so I can murder myself." Um, they're not going to get the
They're
gun.
not gonna sell them the gun, right? Okay. So, that's room number 1.
Okay.
And now we're getting deep. I mean, that was pretty deep, but room number 2 is dark. I need to tell you about Tracy Latimer first, not her father, her, because she is the person who matters the most in this room. And almost every retelling makes her a footnote, and I just don't want to do that. Tracy Lynn Latimer was born in November of 1980 in Saskatchewan. During her birth, something went catastrophically wrong. Her heart stopped. She stopped breathing, and by the time that medical staff brought her back, her brain had been starved of oxygen and the damage was severe and permanent. Tracy had cerebral palsy, a profound case of cerebral palsy. She was quadriplegic. She couldn't walk or speak. Doctors estimated that she had the mental abilities of an infant, and she was, by all medical testimony, in significant and chronic pain. Remember that. So I know a couple quadriplegics. They are not in pain. They do
No.
not feel pain. They feel nothing. They're just chilling. Okay.
Yep.
And they have their mental capacity. This was not Tracy. She was in significant and chronic pain. Just remember that. Um, and here's the thing the Crown fought very hard to put on the record. And I think they were right to. Tracy was not only her pain. Tracy went to school 8 hours a day. A worker there testified she was no more disabled than several other kids in the program. Her family's diary had days like, Tracy had a great evening, or Tracy had a good day at school. The prosecution described her smiling when the horses went by, smiling when her family came to visit. Their words were her life had value and quality. She was a little girl. She was somebody's daughter and somebody's sister. She was 12 years old. So let's remember that. Her father is Robert Latimer, a canola and wheat farmer near the town of Wilkie. By every account, a hardworking, respected, quiet man, a husband and a father of 4.
Okay.
In October of 1993, Robert Latimer waited until his wife and the other kids had gone to church. He carried Tracy out to his pickup truck and he ended her life with carbon monoxide in the cab of that truck. He told police at first that she had just died in her sleep, but they did an autopsy and it was apparent.
Surprise. Yeah.
Yep. And he confessed.
Okay.
But here's the detail that defines the entire case and never goes away. He confessed and he insisted then and now, more than 30 years later, that he did not commit a crime, that he did what was right, that it was an act of love to end the pain of a child he could not bear to watch suffer through yet another surgery. And this split our country down the middle
I
with
already
like
have my thought.
real venom on both sides. So
I have my
I just want to
thought.
go through the two cases and then we can chat about it. The
Okay.
case for Mercy, his supporters, and there were a lot of them.
Oh, I believe that.
A 1999 poll found a majority of Canadians wanted him to get a lenient sentence, said that this was a father drowning in an impossible situation.
Hmm.
Tracy was facing many more surgeries. Her hip was completely dislocated. He described her treatment as mutation and torture. She couldn't even take normal painkillers because they'd interact dangerously with her seizure medication. One ethicist pointed out that Robert Latimer is the only person in Canadian history to spend every single day in prison for a so-called mercy killing. The argument is this man had no selfish motive. He did not get anything from murdering his daughter. There was no benefit to him. He gained nothing.
There are many benefits, but carry on.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
I'm fucking boiling.
So here's the case for murder. The disability rights community in Canada heard this story and went cold with fear. Groups like the Council of Canadians with Disabilities fought hard to be heard in court. Their argument was this: Tracy could not possibly have consented to ending her life. She could not have been asked to end her life. A father looked at his disabled child and decided it was over and acted on that decision for her. And if the law says that's okay, if the law says that's just mercy, then what we've actually said out loud as a society is that a disabled child's life is worth less than an able child. That the bar for ending it is lower. Their position was brutal and clear. Killing a disabled child is no different from killing any other child. And the day you treat it as different is the day you put every disabled person in this country in danger. And the courts agreed with them twice. 2 juries convicted him of second-degree murder. And when it finally reached the Supreme Court of Canada, the decision was 7-0. They upheld the conviction and the mandatory minimum, life with no parole eligibility for 10 years. And they said something I have not been able to forget. They said Tracy's situation was not an emergency. He had other options: a feeding tube, surgery, a care facility.
Yep.
He chose killing her.
Yeah.
And they noted he was in a position of trust. She trusted him probably more than anyone else in the world. And that made it worse. He served his time, day parole in 2008, full parole in 2010, and in interviews since, he's never wavered. No remorse. He says, what I did was right.
Okay.
So, I know what side you're on, but go.
Listen, I can't imagine what he went through, and my heart breaks for this man. Because as a parent, the last thing you want to do is see your child suffer. And it would be horrible. It would be horrible every fucking day. And I get that. But that wasn't his journey. That was her journey. That was not his story. That was her story. And he chose to end it. And yes, maybe, and I truly believe that there was love. And I think that in his mind, he felt like he was justified in doing what he did. He thought he was doing something good. So I don't think there was malicious intent here. However, he had plenty to gain. because when she would leave, he wouldn't have to see this every single day. He wouldn't have to experience seeing a child. So, really, he was relieving himself of the discomfort of having to deal with a child that had so many extra issues, a child who was constantly in pain. She had joy, she smiled, she felt happiness. And I don't care if that joy and happiness was for fucking 30 seconds a day. That was not for him to take from her.
Yeah, and I think okay, so where I stand is I do sympathize
100%.
with him.
Yep.
And again, I'm coming from a place where I have one extremely healthy child who's had minor medical issues
Yeah.
and three very healthy stepkids. Like
Yes.
I have no idea
No.
what this man went through. Um I can see it. I can because
Yeah.
we now have MAID in this country. So,
Yes.
um
But the
which is medically
qualifications,
assisted death.
correct. But to qualify for medically assisted death, you have to prove that you have your wherewithals, that you're making this choice for yourself. Then where does that leave all of the people that have disabilities? Oh,
Exactly.
your baby's born with
Exactly.
spina bifida? No problem. Just get rid
And
of it.
and here's another thing, and this opens like, guys, this opens the biggest book of bullshit because this also brings into play, regardless of where you stand on pro-life, pro-choice, okay? Regardless of where you stand there, late-term abortions are a thing. After you have the testing done to determine if there is something wrong with your child in utero, in Canada and in the, well, depending on where in the United States, you can choose to terminate that pregnancy.
Yes.
This opens up the biggest can of worms because it just seems like, and when I went on Reddit to like look into this a little bit, that was the main point that most people made was like, where's the line? Why was it wrong for Robert Latimer, but it's okay for this guy to do it because it was done through MAID? You know, like, how are we making these decisions of what is right and what is wrong? Now, I'm putting this on the record because I think it's important. I don't agree with what he did. She wasn't an
No.
animal.
That's right.
She wasn't. You can't just decide to put someone down because you think their life does not matter. You can't do that. I do feel for him. My heart breaks for him and his family. Because again, like we said, who am I to sit here with my four healthy children
That's right.
and
I
make a judgment on this?
I
Okay, so do
think
you think the 10 years he should have served the full 10 years? Do you think it should have been less? Do you think it should have been more? Where do you stand on that?
based on our criminal system now,
Mhm.
based on the fucking people that we let out now,
Mhm.
um, I think, yes, he should have served time. I
Mhm.
think intent matters.
Mhm.
Do I agree with what he did? No, I will never get behind that. I think that is a case where I believe in early release, parole.
Mhm.
I think that if I was going to release anyone to make room in a prison
Mhm.
system,
It would be Robert
it
Latimer, of
would be
course.
Robert.
Of course.
So,
Uh, he
yes,
was a great prisoner. Like, he didn't get into shit. He didn't get involved with
no.
bullshit in the inside the prison walls.
And I have
He
no
just served his
doubt,
time. Yeah.
I have no doubt this was a father that was at the end of his rope with seeing a child suffer. And I can't
Mhm.
imagine that. But unfortunately, we do need to create these boundaries. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying that that probably would cross your mind as a parent. If you saw your
Yeah.
child suffering every day, you'd be like, I just want them to,
Yeah.
you know,
I just
because
want it to end.
I know I've seen people at the end of their life, and this is a completely different situation
Yes.
where
Yes.
they're on death's door and their
Mhm.
life is just going and going and they're suffering and you're like, I just want them to pass because they're going to feel peace. And I get that. I get that feeling. And I could only imagine he felt that probably every day. And it's
Yeah.
okay to feel that way.
Yeah.
But we have to have these laws in place for the people that are just like, I don't want to deal with this fucking situation anymore. Let's just get rid of them. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
he had to serve time. Yes, he had to be, prosecuted. But if I was going to release an inmate to make room for all the other fucking rapists and fucking serial
Yeah.
offenders,
Right?
yes, I think
Yeah.
that this is not, there's no harm to the public. There's no risk.
No, and he's been out for years now and he's just living his life. So my PSA for today is you can't do that. You can drive a baby, you can drive a child, you can drive an adult, you can drive anyone to your local hospital and leave them there. You can do that.
True story.
You can do that. I promise you that is easier. Although in your head you're like, "Oh my god, that would be the hardest thing I've ever done." I promise you that's easier than ending their life. So if you can't, I can't pretend to understand what that would be like for somebody, but if ever you find yourself in a position where you are considering killing someone for mercy, take them somewhere. You can take them, you can even take them to the fire department. Take them somewhere and leave them there and
Yeah.
walk away.
Yep. You have the right to do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Someone will take care of them. Someone will step in. The government will step in. And as much as I'm not usually one to fucking put a lot of faith and trust in the government. I'm just saying the answer isn't let's kill them for mercy. So, all right, let's close the door on that room because
Okay.
I know your blood pressure is high.
It is. It's up there.
All
And
right,
I have chronically low blood pressure. So if my blood pressure is high, it's double high.
shit is bad. Yeah.
Shit is bad.
Okay. So, I'm going to tell you about a woman named Amy Elkins and her fiance. It's December of 2015 in Minnesota. Amy and her partner are both struggling with addiction. This is not a glamorous drug story. This is two people who love each other deeply and are both sick with the same disease. And on this particular day, they share. She tears off a piece of fentanyl patch. He tucks his piece in his mouth and heads out the door to go hunting. They both overdose. Amy wakes up later in a hospital. She had collapsed in the laundry room, and while she was unconscious, she learns her fiance had gone down too, right by the door. So this did not take long. They went down fast.
Okay.
He was 36 and he did not survive. Now sit with where Amy is. She wakes up. She's just lost the person she was going to marry that she loved deeply. She
Yeah.
herself nearly died the exact same day from the exact same thing. The coin flip that killed him could have just as easily killed her.
100%.
She goes home and, in her grief, tries to take her own life. She ends up checking herself into a crisis center and she promises her son she's going to get sober. Okay, so trauma and devastation everywhere you look. But Amy has a moment where she's like, I have a son. I need to do better for him. Okay. And that crisis center is where police come and arrest her. 2 months
For
after the
what?
funeral, on a murder charge for his death.
Excuse you?
So Amy initially thought it was a mistake. She was like, what are you talking about? You can't arrest me. He took it willingly. Because in her mind, she's like, I didn't kill him. We were
Oh,
both trying to get high.
yeah.
Um, but she eventually pleaded guilty to manslaughter and went to prison. And here's the thing, and this is why I included this. This is not a freak case. Across the United States, prosecutors started using laws that were written to go after drug kingpins and pointing them instead at friends, partners, siblings, and fellow users. More than 20 states now have drug induced homicide laws on the books. In Pennsylvania, these prosecutions went from 4 in 1 year to over 170. Now, personally, I get this. Again, very similar to Robert Latimer. I can understand this. This was years ago, my neighbor overdosed in her bathtub and died. Her boyfriend was home at the time. I was pretty pissed off at him.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty mad. Do I think he should have faced charges? I don't. She took that willingly.
Yeah.
But was I pissed
Now,
off and I wanted terrible things to happen to him? Absolutely.
did he know that what now I don't know the story. Like, did she think she was taking one thing and then it was laced with something else?
Mm-mm. They knew they were taking fentanyl. They had used it before. It's just so for those of you that don't understand, fentanyl patches are super dangerous because it's like a little piece of paper, but the danger of it is it's not evenly dispersed on the paper. It's supposed to be, but if you're getting it from some underground seedy place, it's not going to be because
Yeah. Okay.
don't do fentanyl. So what ends up happening is you think that you're getting an even dose across the entire patch, but you're not. And that's how people overdose so quickly and so horrifically.
Okay. I This hits me close to home, not for my personal, but I know um, someone that I love very deeply has struggled with drug addiction.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if one of my kids or someone I love died of a fentanyl overdose
Mhm.
and they took fentanyl knowing they were
Mhm.
taking fentanyl,
That's on them.
that's on
That
them.
was a risk that they were willing to take. So, of course, when I was researching this, I ended up down a rabbit hole. There's a
Yeah,
woman who got 6 years in prison because her friend texted her from a work trip asking her for heroin. She mailed it to her and she died and she got 6 years in prison. And I can't, this is where I'm like, no, no, no. If you used, listen, it, okay. If you
she
use
didn't
heroin
ask.
every single day,
Yeah,
all right, you're my best friend. You use heroin every single day. Let's just say, okay, you go on a work trip. I've watched you shoot up 10 million times. Okay. You go on a work trip and you're like, fuck, I can't find someone here to sell to me. I'm freaking out. I'm starting to go into withdrawals. Like, can you help me? I'm probably sending you the heroin, Ash.
I know. I know.
Like, I mean that, like, don't come for me. Like, put yourself in that position. If
Listen,
I've watched you do that for years and years and years, and you've never overdosed, you've never come close to overdosing, you've never died, and you're addicted, I look at that as I'm doing you a favor. You're gonna crash out. You're gonna go into withdrawals. You're gonna be sick as fuck.
so
And now I'm going to prison for 6 years? I don't know, man.
so here's my thing. If the person who passed didn't know it was laced, it's not on them.
Yeah.
And this girl took the same drug. They both were fentanyl addicts. They both suffered the same disease. Now, again, if, say, the person that I'm thinking about in my mind was like, went out and got drugs and they died of an overdose,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm probably blaming them because you know the risk.
Yeah. This is it. Like, I don't know. This is it. Like, it's a totally different story if, like our first story, someone is encouraging you to do it and they know you're going to overdose and die. That's we're talking about something different. But in a
But
case like this, like these people are not kingpins. They're
but
regular people.
but let me ask you this. I mean, the
Hmm.
probability of something like this ever happening is very low, but say your daughter goes out and they're like, "Hey, you want to smoke some weed?" Which is
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
we all smoke weed when we're teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she does. She's like, "Okay, I'll try your weed." And she dies of a heroin overdose. Are you blaming the person she smoked weed with?
Probably not.
No.
Honestly, depending, and I mean, it's all circumstantial, right? And I understand that each of these is circumstantial, but my kid knows the risks associated with taking drugs from
Yep.
someone, even if it's somebody that you know. If it hasn't come from a reliable source, you are taking a risk.
Yep. You can
You're
die.
taking a risk. You can die. Every time you make that choice to smoke weed that you don't know where it's come from, if it's come from a legal dispensary or not, you are making that choice as a person. Would it suck and would I be fucking livid till the day I died? Yes.
Yep.
But she made that choice.
She made the choice to do something that she knew could end up in her death.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, but but then there is a little piece of me
Hmm.
that says like, you know, in high school I was like eating mushrooms, I did LSD, I was, smoking the weeds, like I
Yeah.
tried it all in high school. Like,
Yeah.
let's try
Yeah.
this, okay. It's a different time now. Fentanyl's scary. You can die super easy. But baby Ashley trusted the people that were giving those things to me because baby Ashley wasn't fully developed up here, you know? So
I'm
who
having
is,
I'm having a judgment moment because I know that you have fucking eaten pizza off the back of a motorcycle in another country. And like I'm like, baby Ashley, eh?
yeah, so adult Ashley still hasn't fully developed, but I'll eat anything. So I'm just thinking, like, who is to blame though? Because let's be real, people are lacing drugs with illegal substances. Like drugs are obviously illegal, but people are lacing drugs with these dangerous substances. You take something thinking it's for a good time and you die,
Yes.
that person
Yes.
should be brought down.
Yeah, but the people we're talking about here, that was not the case.
No, she was doing it
Like
too. She was
she
a
used it
fucking drug addict.
herself. Yeah,
Yeah.
she used it herself. I don't know. I'm not for that. I don't think
If
they should
I think
be
the investigation,
manslaughter. Like, are you kidding me?
I think if the investigation deems, okay, they were both equally using the same thing,
They
there was no
were.
intent there.
No,
But if,
they had done this a million times before, just like my example of you going
yeah,
away, and they had done this so many times before. He was literally leaving the house to go hunting. He was
right.
like, "Boy, am I going to have a good time today."
So
Which, another
had
PSA, please don't do
don't do
fentanyl
drugs
and
and
go hunting.
use a gun. I
Please
thought
don't
about
do
that.
that.
I'm like, that's
I know.
interesting. So,
Don't.
and also because when I think of fentanyl, I think of like the downtown people bent over and like, I'm like, how do
Well,
you
yeah,
go?
no.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I don't
So,
know.
so so in that case, no, but say she was like, here's some fentanyl and just gave it to him. How do we know that her intent wasn't to kill him? And then also I'm thinking, the heroin girl, how do we know that her intent wasn't just to fucking, we don't know what people's intent is.
Then don't do fuck shit.
Yes, but I think there needs to be a line there. Like if you're not taking it yourself, if you're not trusting it yourself, if it's not an accidental, like we got something we shouldn't have
But in
gotten.
the heroin, she asked her friend to send it. She literally was like, here's where you're going to get it. You're going to put it in a package. You're going to send it to me. And it's going to get to me and I'm going to be happy. She's an adult. Her friend was
Yeah.
literally running an errand for her.
Yeah. That one's
right?
tricky for me.
So
I'm a little
I
bit,
know.
that one I'm like,
I just can't get I'm just like, "Are you serious?" Like, I can't understand where that's coming from. And so to break this all down to a point where we can end this episode, because we could talk about this for literally hours
oh,
about all
girl.
3 of these cases. Where I guess stand when I stood out in the hallway of our 3 rooms and I looked at all 3. Kenneth Law is the only one out of all 3 of these that did it for profit, that
Yeah.
did it to actually benefit from it. And I know that you are on the fence with Robert Latimer about how he would benefit from it. Maybe,
I
maybe
mean,
that's
here's the thing. My,
but
my,
Amy,
my,
no.
no, she wasn't benefiting.
She's actually losing, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming, like, they lived together. I'm assuming he had a job.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like,
so
is
sad.
that the line? Is the line, if you benefit from this, that makes it wrong?
I think, I think it all really actually truly comes down to intent. Because we
Okay.
could go back and forth and,
Yeah.
dig deep and everything else. And I
Yeah.
think if you had malicious intent,
Mhm.
then that is where I'm like, if you intentionally tried to murder somebody or take somebody's life, then fuck you. It's not
But
your
here's the
journey.
thing. So if that's the lens that we're looking through, Kenneth Law gets off. Kenneth Law was not sitting in his Mississauga apartment being like, "Hey, hey, hey, I'm going to kill a bunch of people and it's going to bring me so much joy." That wasn't it at all. Kenneth Law was sitting in his apartment going, "I'm not going to look at this because I need to make my rent this month. So
Right.
I'm just not going to look at it. I'm just going to do what I need to do to get through,
Okay, cool,
and
Kenneth. Show
I'm
your
not going to look at
PP
it."
like half the other people on the fucking internet and fucking don't be a monster.
No, and I know, and I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, if that's the thing we're looking at, if it does come down to intent, I mean, if you ask Kenneth today, his intent was never to kill people, it was to provide them with a substance that is commonly used in a kitchen.
Kenneth, shut the fuck up. You're a
I know,
selfish
I know,
fucking
I
asshole.
know. Kenneth is probably the one that I'm the most sure of where I stand. Like, I'm sorry, Ken, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
You
Like
gotta
you
be
didn't
locked
even
up,
there
my
was no
friend.
no forethought on who these
No.
people were.
And
These
there were
could be
so many of them.
16-year-old kids. Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
There it was.
Right, no.
It
Go.
absolutely was. There were young children, like 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds. Like, it was bad,
Do you know how many fucking teenagers have a moment where they're like, I want to fucking kill myself? Everyone.
right? And then the next day they wake up and they're like, "Huh."
Huh.
But if they had access to a quote unquote doctor who's
Yes.
telling them, like, "Yeah, actually it sounds like your life is going to suck forever, so you should just do it."
I can guarantee you, if my family member
Mhm.
who passed from suicide, and I need to clarify something. When people say commit suicide, it boils my blood, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Because they didn't commit a crime. To me, when I hear commit, it's like in a negative way. These people suffered their darkest days and they succumbed to an illness like cancer, like fucking, anything else that can take your life out because it's an illness. So when
This is really interesting.
I don't believe in the whole, like, they were selfish. No, they were fucking struggling and they couldn't
Mm.
take it
No, and
anymore.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So
I
I don't
think,
like the term commit suicide. I think passed
yeah,
from suicide. Hmm.
it's very interesting because I have watched people around a victim of suicide lose their everything. lose everything. And it's like, at what point do we look at that and go, that person took everyone down with them?
Okay, but in the other flip side of that, that person woke up every day trying to keep it together
Yeah,
and
yeah.
finally couldn't. And they tried because no one makes a decision like that, like that. And if they
No, I know.
do,
I know.
they've thought about it for a long time.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know. I know.
They're suffering. For you to
Mhm,
go to that extreme, that's an extreme act.
mhm.
For you to go to that extreme, you are suffering immensely. So,
So, Ashley, you know I like to fuck with you with this shit. So
fuck
how
what?
does that make Tracy Latimer any different?
She didn't choose that for herself.
Because she couldn't possibly. She had the mental capacity of
Right.
an infant.
Exactly. She couldn't do it, so she wouldn't have done it. An infant wouldn't kill
Why
themselves.
is it okay for someone who suffers every day, wakes up every day and suffers every day? Why is it okay for them to end their life? Is it because they chose that?
At the end of the day, yeah, they chose that. They chose that they made the decision they couldn't do it another minute. If if the human condition really wants to die, Tracy Latimer
Mhm.
would have found a way to die.
Right. Okay. Okay. I do subscribe to that. I do subscribe to that.
So if her soul, her body was ready to go, she would have stopped
Mhm.
eating. She would have shut
Mhm,
down.
mhm, mhm,
It was
mhm.
not her time.
Fair. Fair. I mean, Maid would say otherwise, but we're not going to. This is the thing. We're at an hour. We could keep talking about this for
Yeah.
hours because there's loophole after loophole after
Yeah.
loophole after
May I
turn
ask
after
you a
turn.
question, Chantal?
You may ask me anything.
Do you believe in maid?
I I do not believe in Maid the way it is being used. No.
Agreed.
No.
If you
Absolutely not. I initially thought, huh, this is great because I watched my father-in-law suffer miserably.
Yep,
And I know for a fact
he would have
if
chosen
he
that.
had had a choice at the time when he was dying, he would have chosen that and it would have been far more beautiful than the suffering he endured leading up until his death.
So
So
I do agree with maid for and only for
I was going to say, we better be real clear about this.
terminally ill people. There is no cure. You will suffer. You're going to lose your wherewithals. You're not going to be here anymore. So I would rather my final moments be um lucid. I want my final
Yeah.
moments to be intentional.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
also
Sounds
I
good.
my like faith wise, I do believe death is an important part of life. So
Yes.
while
Yeah.
birth, we celebrate. Like,
Uh-huh.
birth is so beautiful. Well, why can't we be celebrating the
Well, let me tell you, our society is one of the few societies that doesn't celebrate it. And
yeah,
that is a bigger question for us all to ask is how come other cultures, it is a full celebration, but ours is this. And don't get me wrong, like we're all devastated when we lose somebody that we love. But how come it's not a celebration? So that's a whole nother thing for us to talk about.
So one more
I will
question
say,
before we close,
uh-huh.
because I think everyone's going to be curious. Chantal, are you afraid of dying?
No, no. Do I want to die? Absolutely not. I think I have so much life to live. Um, I have been on death's door
Mm-hmm.
so many times.
Mm-hmm.
So many times I have been on death's door. And I don't know if that plays into it. I don't know if that's why
Maybe.
I'm not terrified of it.
Yeah,
Um, but the thing I'm more terrified about is the effect it would have on everyone else,
fair.
those who are still here, right? Like I would be worried about my child. Um,
Fair.
but no, I'm not afraid to die. I know you're not.
No.
Ash Ash is not afraid to die. I mean, also, I know you don't want to.
No.
we want to be here. We want
Yeah.
to watch our kids grow old. We want to do all those things,
Guys,
but
if I'm not here tomorrow, listen, you're all welcome to my celebration of life because I've
it'll be a
already planned
party.
this one, Chantal. I want
Hmm.
one of those Irish send-offs where my body is propped up in the corner and everyone's taking shots and I'm scaring people.
I am putting you in a push-up bra and the lowest cut shirt, and we're gonna take shots out of your
Titties,
tits.
Jello shooters, everyone gets around.
Okay. Okay. Before we end this, because we kind of like carried on because you were asking me questions, I do want to make it very, very, very well known. Um, some of the uses of MAID right now with young teenagers who just have
Mm,
decided that their exams are too hard and they want to die, and the government is giving them that.
it's
No,
gross.
no, 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 no. So anyway, I just needed to like
Yeah,
clear
no.
that
And
before we
suicide is never
before
the
we end
fucking
this.
answer. Like, I get it. You don't
No,
want to be
guys.
here. It's hard. But at the end of the day, let me just break something down. And I want to say this before we close because it might give someone perspective. Life is fucking hard. I know it. I am on my third marriage. I've had 2 divorces. I've lost the people I've loved the most. I have watched people I care about suffer. I've lost jobs. I have hit rock bottom. I have been financially strapped. I've been a single mom. I've done it all. And so has Chantal. But it's numbers on a screen and it's a moment of uncomfortability.
Honestly,
But those are the times you
honestly.
grow. We are put on this earth literally, and in my opinion, to learn. It's like being in a class. And I guarantee you, everything you learn from every step of the way, even if it's uncomfortable, will make you grow a little bit more.
Mhm.
And my belief, which I don't know if many people share my belief, is that you chose this. Before you came to earth, you said, put me through the worst of it. This is what I want to struggle with. Why? Because you needed to experience this to become better, to become more whole.
And
Look at
on
it
that
like a
too,
class. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. On that too, you have a purpose. I know in those moments it doesn't feel like you do, but you are part of the equation. And
Yeah.
if you remove yourself from that, it will ripple
Yes.
down a line that you can't even fully comprehend. And you might say, well, I don't give a fuck about what goes on to it. But you don't know if you give a fuck about it because you wouldn't know.
So,
You
on that
have a
note,
purpose. Yes.
I want if you love Chantal and I want you to do something that I do literally every day. It drives Chantal crazy, but I have something I want you guys all to do. Next time you go out and you see somebody, smile at them, say, hi, how are you? They might not
Yeah.
want to talk to you, but
Yeah.
there's a chance that someone just wanted to be seen because you could be saving their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi,
Honestly,
girl, that dress is beautiful.
I
Hey,
do
where did
that.
you get those shoes?
Mm.
Pump somebody. Like, if you see something you love, it's okay to shout it from the rooftops because
Yes.
everybody deserves to be seen.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and you're going through some shit, we love you.
Yeah, we love you. Message
We
us.
love you. We don't even know who you may be. I promise you, I love you. I
Hmm.
do.
Yep.
Because we don't want to see anyone suffer. We don't want to see anyone go through shit.
Listen,
But as two gals who have literally been through the mud and come
we
out and hosed each other off and
yeah,
carried on,
we've
we
talked
got
each
you.
other off the ledge multiple times. So,
Yeah.
and
So
we're here.
I know that this one was different, but I thought it was really important for us to
Yeah.
kind of, we come on here all the time and we have our banter and we talk about these cases and we talk about our thoughts on them. But every now and then there are cases that come through where it just challenges your
It's
morality
not
to
black
a
and white.
level that you're not really ready for. So let us know what you think. Check us out on social media. Give us a follow. Leave us a review. Oh my God, the reviews, guys.
Please review us. We forget
My
about the reviews.
God.
We're literally,
But
guys, we're
every
almost at
time I get one,
170 episodes.
I know it's insane.
170 episodes, you guys. Like,
Yeah. Is this
so
170?
we're at
This will be 169?
169.
We
69.
don't know. Guys, we have no idea. Honestly, reviews are every time I get a little notification that there's a review, I'm like ding 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 ding. So anyway, we love you all so much. I hope that you were able to challenge yourself during this
Yeah.
episode, yeah, let us know. Send us an email. Shannon from PEI, we love you. And we'll see you all on Friday.
Friday.
Bye
Bye.
bye.